Hi, my name is Craig, and today I'm going to show you how to build this L-shaped farmhouse style computer desk on this episode of Build It Better. The first thing I did was cut down some 8-foot 2x6s on my miter saw for the top of the computer desk. I made 4 cuts at 60 inches and 4 cuts at 22 inches. Once everything was cut, I laid the 2x6s out in the shape of the computer desk and then determined which side of the wood was going to be face up. I wanted to make sure that any knots or grains in the wood that I wanted to be shown would be faced up and any imperfections in the wood face down. Then I set my Kreg jig to 1.5 inches for both the jig and the drill bit, which is the tool I'm using to seamlessly connect the 2x6 boards together. With all of the wood reversed to show the bottom of the boards, I measured out where I was going to be making the Kreg jig holes, which was about every 12 inches. Once all of the hole locations were marked and the Kreg jig was set up, I started drilling holes. You don't have a clamp like myself, I found it easiest to apply my body weight to the Kreg jig and then to start the drill before it hit the wood and slowly push in, letting the tool do all the work and not forcing it. Once all the Kreg jig holes were drilled, I got a straight board I had lying around to be my reference for straight when connecting the 2x6s. I grabbed the first 2x6, applied wood glue to the side of the board, lined it up to where the end was straight, and drilled the 1.5-inch Kreg screws into their holes. I then repeated the process with the remaining boards, making sure they went in nice and flush with the piece you're screwing into. I ended up standing on the boards and found it to be the easiest way to keep the boards flat on the ground while getting proper leverage to drill the screws into their holes. I did the 4 22-inch 2x6s and the 4 60-inch 2x6s separately and then drilled them together last. With the top of the computer desk completely put together, I put it out of the way and on a flat surface for the wood glue to dry. At this point I moved over to building the base of the computer desk. I cut down some 2x4s, cutting 6 at 28.5 inches, 4 at 18 inches, and 2 at 16 inches for the end of the computer desk. I laid out the 2x4s, then pre-drilled the holes with an 8-inch bit and used 2.5-inch wood screws, but you could also use the Kreg jig to connect the 2x4s together. After getting the sides drilled together, I started on the inner 1x2 bracing. I mocked up the 1x2 where it was supposed to go and marked the angle of the first cut. Then I made the cut on the miter saw and positioned it back on the side to make sure it fit right. After the first cut, I mocked the 1x2 with another mark for the second cut, then repeated the process for the other side and the remaining 2 sides of the desk, making sure these 1x2s were precisely cut to the correct length. After all the 1x2s were cut, I put some wood glue on the ends of the 1x2s and pushed them into place, then wiped away any excess wood glue and set them on their sides for the wood glue to dry. At this point I realized I wasn't happy with how the screws looked, so I individually drilled out each hole, and then once all the screws were recessed into the wood, I used some wood filler to fill each of the holes. From there, I drilled 3 2x4s at 52 inches and 3 2x4s at 18.5 inches. For each of these 2x4s, I used a Kreg jig to drill 2 holes at each end. Then I grabbed the 2 identical base sides and set them on their backs. From there, I applied wood glue to the 2x4 and drilled it together with the 2 sides. I flipped the desk framing around and repeated the process, but turned the 2x4 flat to maximize space for my legs, as this is the front of the desk. Then installed the center bracing the same way. From there I grabbed the smaller base side and repeated the process of installing the smaller 3 2x4s. Then I flipped the 2x4 framing back upright and started sanding the top of the computer desk to get it smooth. Once all the glue was dried, I flipped the top of the computer desk back upside down. Did the same thing with the base of the computer desk. I went around and positioned all the framing half an inch away from all the sides, and once I got the framing positioned where I wanted it, I pre-drilled holes behind the 1x2s so that the screws would be hidden and drilled 2.5-inch wood screws into those holes. With the computer desk top attached to the base, I flipped the desk back upright and started sanding. I initially went over everything with an 80 grit sandpaper and then finished it with a 220. I made sure to pay special attention to removing the print in the wood and to smooth out the front side of the computer desk where I made cuts with the miter saw. With the sanding complete, I remember I needed to drill a hole for the power outlet. I removed the top of the computer desk and measured out the hole for the power outlet where it would clear the 2x4 framing in the base of the computer desk, which ended up being 4 inches on both sides. From there, I got my 3-inch drill bit, connected it to my cordless drill, and drilled out the hole on the top of the computer desk. The power outlet is flush mounted with 2 USB ports and 2 standard electrical ports, and has a 10-foot cable that plugs right into your home's power outlet. If you guys are interested, I'm going to put a link in the video description. At this point, everything was complete other than painting, staining, and sealing the desk. With my wife's assistance, we started painting the desk frame in white. We coated the entire base of the desk in 2 coats of white paint and had it flipped upside down to get to every nook and cranny. After we finished painting the base, we put it to the side to dry and started on the top of the computer desk, where we decided to both put a stain and then a water-based polyacrylic sealant. After soaking the top of the computer desk heavily with 1 coat of stain, we wiped away the excess with a rag. Then once the stain was dried, we went back over the computer desk with 2 coats of the sealant. Once the sealant was dry, I reinstalled the top of the computer desk to its base and then finished the build by putting in the electrical outlet. So thanks a lot for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I personally had a blast making this, and I think the result is absolutely stunning. If you liked the video, please make sure to hit the like button, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If this is your first time on my channel, I want to say welcome, as well as please subscribe because I put out a new video every week. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next week.